Alright, so we're going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this MSI GL63 8RE. So this is actually having some heat issues. The fan is making a weird high-pitched sound. I believe it's the GPU fan. And it ends up like running really slow and stuff, the customer said. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to be using a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length, though it looks like the customer already kind of took this apart. So hopefully they didn't mix up the screws and damage anything. Alright, I hear this clicking, so maybe these screws don't actually come out, but we'll find out. These screws are actually like really hard to turn. Again, I don't know if the customer did anything to it. But yeah, anyways, to keep the screws in order, what I do is I put them flat side down like this on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, so you just go, usually I'll go in rows like this, and then I'll just put the screws there. If you see any screws that are on the bottom of your laptop that I'm not removing, again, keep in mind that I'm working on a computer that obviously someone opened before because this factory seal sticker is gone. Okay, so yeah. Alright, if you're wondering what this tiny little hole is here, there's a battery reset button. Sometimes if your computer has issues powering up, you can try pushing that with like a folded out paper clip or a needle or a pin or something, and that might get it to turn back on. Alright, usually you press and hold that for about 15 seconds and that should be good. Alright, this screw seems to be stuck as well. I'm going to try with a magnet to see if it'll pop out. And it doesn't seem to want to come out easily if it's going to come out. But, okay, I guess I'll leave it there and we'll see what happens. Anyways, hopefully this video helps you guys out. If it does, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Yeah, interesting. Anyways, a lot of these screws are kind of just staying in place. Like, as I unscrew it, they're kind of just staying there. They're not popping out. So, we'll see what happens. I'm going to kind of just leave them there and, yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it looks like they should all come out, so I don't know what's going on. But we'll see. Maybe as I pop the cover out, I'm going to have to be careful and catch them because they might just fly all over the place. Yeah, see, they do come out. They're just a little difficult. So maybe I need a way to kind of pull it as I kind of twist it. I don't know. There we go. Maybe I'll try with my needle nose pliers just to see if I can grab it, or maybe my tweezers. Okay, because I don't want to pull the cover off and then the screws go flying everywhere. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try and get this screw out. Kind of twisting it a little with the pliers. Oop, yep, see, it comes out. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be pulling these screws out. Yeah, okay, the screws do come out. They're just a little bit difficult for some reason. Alright, there's one more here. Factory seal. Okay, maybe I'll try unscrewing this and then, I mean, it's clicking as if it's all the way out. And there we go. Okay. See, so I don't know why these screws are somewhat being difficult. This one actually seems like it's going to stay in there. So I'm going to leave that one there. And I think we got all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and the 11th one is here. Alright, let's see if we can pop this up. So usually the way this works is if it is designed to hold in there, it allows you to create a gap here to make this easier to pop open. Okay, so we're going to pull this up. I might have to kind of wiggle it around, and it looks tough to remove. So I think the customer, when they pulled on it, I can see there's a little crack here. So it looks like they cracked that a little bit. But anyways, we're going to go around and see if we can kind of pop all of this out. So I'm going to run my fingernails along the gap here as I kind of pull it up. Okay, we're going to go around to here. Same thing, kind of run my fingernails along the gap, kind of pulling with my fingernails while pushing with my thumb. and that causes the plastic casing to kind of bow outwards like this. And the headphone jack and microphone jack there, they do kind of protrude out into the plastic here, so you want to be careful when you lift that out that you're not ripping the motherboard up. Okay, and again, we're just continuing along the outer edge, pulling on it like this to kind of pop all the clips out. Okay, going around to this side, same thing, just like that. And there we go. Okay, so it looks like we got this whole thing up. I'm gonna put that here, and we're just gonna kind of wiggle and lift this. Oh, why is it stuck on this corner again? So I don't know what's going on with this corner, but this corner is kind of stuck. Oh, it looks like they cracked the plastic here as well. So we're gonna have to pop that out separately. There we go, and kind of pop this up if we can. Yeah, this corner, I don't know, it's being difficult. I don't know what's going on with that. What's it caught on? The vent? Okay, I'm gonna hold this up. We're gonna try and lift again from this side and wiggle it and see. It's somewhat coming up. I don't know, it's caught on something here. There we go. All right, so there we go. We got the bottom cover off. And again, you want to be a little bit careful with the vent area because that seems to be holding it pretty strong. So, I mean, I don't see anything too weird here. But yeah, like the fan is super noisy. It looks like I'm gonna actually have to pop up the heat sinks here. What we're gonna do actually is we're gonna remove the battery first. So let's zoom in. And we're going to remove the battery. It looks like there's one screw here holding that in place. Well, let me see if I can show you the screw here. So the screw in that one corner does have like a little metal washer there to help hold that in place. And that's how it kind of helps pop the cover up. Okay, so we'll get that one screw out. All right, then we're going to go ahead and twist it up this way, just like that, and it comes out like this. Battery model number here. Is there an actual model number? Model name, here you go. BTY-M6H, that's the battery model number. So we're gonna set that aside. The fans themselves seem to spin okay, so I don't know what's causing the high-pitched sound. What I'm gonna do, because the customer told me to see if I can clean it out first instead of kind of repairing the fans. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try using my powerful electric air blower to blow through here. I'm going to hold the fan in place, blow the air through there and through both these vents. We'll see if a bunch of dust comes out, then maybe it will help fix that. If nothing happens, then we're going to have to see what's going on. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at what else is here. I don't want to mess around too much because, again, they just need me to see about fixing the fan or heat issue. But there's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive here. You can upgrade this to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. There's 2 screws here that you undo. Once you do that, you can use this to kind of lift it up slightly and pull it back. You don't want to pull it up too high because the connector here, it just requires you to slide it back. And yeah, the other thing you could do instead is you can kind of just, I guess, pull the, I don't know if you saw how that works. This is just rubber things that hold it down. So basically you can lift this and move that out of the way. And then, yeah, so instead of lifting it up, you actually just pull it straight back, okay? The CMOS BIOS battery is right here. This is the BIOS CMOS RTC battery. And the connector for it is right under there. So you could technically just pull the battery straight back out if you want to remove that without taking the whole motherboard out. All right, you got the wireless card here. I'll kind of show a somewhat close up. There's a tiny model number there. I don't know if you can even read that. 9462NGW. All right, then you got an M.2 SSD here. Is this SATA? This is the M.2 SATA SSD. I don't know why they didn't use the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. They it looks like on some models they use the same motherboard, but this is a PCIe NVMe slot here, and then this would be a SATA 3.0 SSD M.2s. I'm assuming this also supports M.2 PCIe NVMe. It would be dumb if they didn't allow this to support M.2 PCIe NVMe, especially since they don't give you these two slots. Okay, RAM and GPU are soldered to the motherboard, so you can't upgrade them. And let's go ahead and pop the RAM out. So I just pull the two tabs to the side. It comes up at an angle. Then you can pull it out like this. And it's a little dusty. This is PC42666V. You can use any size you want. So you can get two 16 gig sticks if you want. I don't know if they have 32 gig sticks, but if they do, you can get two 32 gig sticks. Anyways, we're going to put it back at an angle. Make sure there's no dust or anything stuck to it. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and put this back at an angle, just like this. Usually I like to kind of wiggle it while I'm kind of pulling it into the slot, and then set it down. Okay, anyways, again, I'm just going to clean out the dust real quick now. And yeah, if you're wondering, there's the LCD LVDS connector here, fan connector here, another fan connector here. This is the DC jack charge port connector there, which looks pretty beefy. Goes all the way here and goes across the fan. It looks like if we need to remove the fan assembly, we might have to undo this hinge thing here. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to clean that out and we'll see what happens. And I'll see you guys in a bit. All right. Yeah, other explanations for stuff. I'm not going to really take it completely apart. Oh, there is the speaker connector here as well that you kind of just wiggle and pull it out that way. But yeah, okay, let me clean this up and I'll be back. We'll see if there's any change. And then we'll just reassemble. Oh, it looks like he was taking other stuff apart. Some of these clips are just like broken in here. Okay, anyways, I'll be back. Alright, so after a bunch of messing with it, I was able to kind of clean it up a bit. Sometimes when I blew on it, the fan would actually get caught. It was getting stuck. So now, after blowing it out, it looks like it's a lot better. And I also kind of like grabbed the center of the fans and kind of wiggled it up and down a bit to kind of get it to grip. I also did actually disconnect the fan connector, so let me reconnect those, of course. Alright, if you're wondering how I disconnected it, I just used my fingernails and kind of grabbed the little wings of the connector and wiggled it to pull it up. But anyways, we're going to just pop these back in. Actually, let me zoom in a bit. The connectors are basically the same. I'll actually demonstrate on one of them. So, connector just pops back in. Alright, but basically I just used my fingernails like this and kind of just wiggled it to pull it out just like that. Okay. Anyways, we're going to get this back in just like that. Good. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to actually reassemble this thing and we'll see how it goes. I probably won't actually put all the screws back in, but let's go ahead and get this thing back together. So the battery just goes in again like at an angle like this, and then you slowly kind of twist it back down into place. Push that in. We'll get this one screw in. I should actually go and get the charger. One thing I didn't mention, if you mess with the LCD LVDS connector, before doing that, what you do want to do is open up the laptop and then press and hold the power button for 15 seconds before doing that. At least 15 seconds. You can hold it longer and that should be fine. But anyways, I'm going to power this up. I'm going to check it while it's like this. You don't want to flip it all the way because then the speakers will just fall out. But anyways, I'm going to power this up and I'll check it. Most likely I have to plug it back in or it's not going to turn on. Yeah, I'm pressing and holding the power button, but nothing's happening. Alright, let me go get the plug and I'm going to test this. I'm going to do this off camera and I'll let you guys know how it goes. If it's still like getting hot and making the weird whirring noise, then I will go ahead and pull the entire heatsink off, but I have a feeling it's going to be okay. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. Anyways, after removing the battery and then powering it back on, it did have to kind of power cycles itself several times. So if your computer doesn't turn on immediately and it shuts off, turns back on, shuts off, turns back on, that's normal. Don't worry about it. All right, we're gonna disconnect the battery. All right, again, I'm gonna do the power drain this time because we are gonna be removing the heat sinks. Hopefully we can repair the fans here. So I'm gonna carefully, slowly open this up, and then we're gonna press and hold the power button on this side for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This makes it a lot safer to work on. All right, and it only takes a few seconds, so take that extra time and prevent risking like hundreds or thousands, like hundreds of dollars damage to your computer. You might end up having to replace your motherboard and stuff if you don't do this, okay? Anyways, we're gonna disconnect the fans again. I guess we'll zoom in so you can kind of see how I do that on both. Basically, again, just get underneath with my fingernails on the wings of each side and kind of just wiggle it, right? Just like that, and that comes out. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing again on this side. I already showed this, but might as well. This thing is really hot right now because I just ran the processor and this GPU to the max to see how it would react. All right, we're gonna now disconnect the DC jack charge port connector here. It is held down with some adhesive, so kind of want to peel it up slowly. Be careful not to put pressure on this pipe. You don't want to damage that. Okay, so once you kind of lift it up a bit, let me kind of move my phone out of the way. Okay, I'm gonna slowly peel this up. And what I try and do is I try and keep it flat by pulling it this way as I kind of peel it up. Okay, just like this. All right, and there we go. I think we can actually remove the heatsink without taking this whole thing out. So let's go ahead and see if we can. Again, I'm gonna try and do the same thing as with the fan connectors, is kind of using my fingernails and going to the outer edges. Looks like there's not much room to grab here, so I'm using my thumbnail there, and there we go. So we got that out, came out pretty nicely. And I think we have room where we can, I think we have room where we can actually lift the whole heatsink out without taking it completely apart. All right, let's zoom out here so you can kind of see. We're going to remove all the screws here. Usually the heatsink's going to be a little bit difficult to remove just because of the thermal paste holds it really strong, so keep that in mind. And it looks like there are some screws also holding the fans down, so we're going to remove those as well. Okay, so there's one screw here. Make sure you get all of these out. All right, there's another screw over here. Okay, go to the other side, and it looks like there's two screws here as well. One over here. Okay, and one down here. And hopefully those are the only 4 screws holding the fans down. Hopefully there's nothing hidden anywhere else. I don't see anything else, so yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and remove the screws holding the heatsink down to the GPU processors and stuff. Excuse me. All right, there's 4 screws here. I was thinking the screws were going to hold themselves in place, but apparently not. All right, again, we did the power drain, but either way, be careful not to drop the screws on the motherboard. Usually you'll be okay if you did, if the power drain, but again, it's best not to. Okay, there we go. And then we got the 3 screws here. If you notice, there are numbers around there, and that's how you know which screw to put in first or second or third or whatever. Okay, these screws actually stay in place. You just unscrew them until the spring pops up, and then you know that you're good. Okay, oh, so apparently the fan screws here are numbered as well. So they have number 1 all the way for here, and then they have number 2 all the way down here. Okay, so they actually even number the fan ones. I was wondering how it was saying 10 here. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can lift this out. Again, you want to be very careful. Usually what I do is I kind of have to apply a little twisting motion like this as I kind of lift it, especially since all these little thermal pads are here. If you just pull straight up, you're very likely going to just bend this thermal pipe or heat pipe, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so you can see we're wiggling it. It's kind of stuck, so we're going to kind of go over here to the thicker part of this metal and use that to kind of pull up, maybe over here as well. Oh wait, how is that? That's just a solid piece of metal. Okay, so there's a big piece of metal with, you can see the thermal pad there. Okay, and we can try and kind of pull it up from this area. And if you do this, you want to go very slow. It'll slowly release if you keep applying constant pressure. And there we go. Okay, you don't want to just yank up really hard. You want to, again, go very slow. All right, so we're going to pull this out. You can see there's some dust under there, so we're going to clean that out. You can see the thermal paste here. Wow, did that burn, or is that just dirt? Okay, I think that's just dirt, and then in between is where it was actually seated on the stuff. Okay, anyways, we're gonna have to clean off this thermal paste, and we're gonna have to reapply that stuff. I'm gonna set this heatsink aside for now. What we're gonna do, wow, you can see it made black stuff on these. That's pretty crazy. All right, I'm gonna kind of brush this stuff off a little bit, and I'm gonna use my handheld squeeze blower to kind of just blow that stuff away. There's kind of a chunk of like lint here, so we're gonna throw that. All right, kind of get that stuff out of here. Try and blow it away from where the thermal pads and stuff are. Okay, so there we go. We cleaned up this area a bit. Okay, and it looks like all the buttons over here connect with this little cable and go underneath the motherboard. You can see the wireless antennas going around up there. Also, there's this flat ribbon cable with like a flip latch here. If you're not sure how to remove these, again, I make a lot of computer repair videos that show all these kinds of latches, and you can actually replace this piece separately. And then also you have the LCD LVDS connector that you just pull straight up. Okay, anyways, I'm going to set this aside for now because we are going to be working on the, let's see here, oops, sorry, make sure that's on a stable spot, and then we're going to be working on the heatsink and everything here. So I have to be a little bit careful because I don't want to just drop this down like this. I think if I do, part of these will touch the table, so I don't want to just drop it there. All right. We are going to use a PH0 JIS0 screwdriver to remove these little screws on each fan. There's 3 screws there. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch over to the JIS0 screwdriver. Okay, again, be careful not to kind of drop this stuff and get the thermal paste and thermal pads all contaminated. Okay, so we're going to take the screws out of here. Again, there's 3 on each side. I'm going to actually see if I can do both fans. I'm going to try and work on both because since we already took this out, might as well get them all done. Okay, right, again, keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. There we go. All right, and then if you're wondering how the other side here is held in, there's this kind of little, oops, wow, look at that giant ball of dust there. Okay, that just fell out. Anyways, wow, look at that, that's crazy. And that's after I was kind of trying to blow out all that gunk. Okay, so there's this little metal piece that kind of helps hold that in place. All right, anyways, I'm going to use a toothbrush and kind of just brush this out a little bit to kind of make sure it's clean. I guess I'll show the customer that's pretty crazy how bad that dust ball was. So yeah, it's a good thing to check both sides because you never know what's stuck in there even after kind of blowing it out. Usually that happens when it sits long enough that it kind of all clumps together, and then kind of blowing the dust out doesn't work anymore. Okay, so all right, so we got that one. Let's go ahead and see if we can fix this fan first. So we got this out, and hopefully that was most of it. Okay, this fan propeller is actually stuck on here. If you're wondering, let's see, is there a model number here? So this is the fan model number, PAAD06015SL. So if you need a fan, you can try looking for that, or you can also try looking for the laptop model number and the word fan, and you'll probably find it. Again, there's a CPU and GPU fan. If you're wondering, this one with less stuff around it, the triangle, this is the CPU, and then this is the GPU part, okay? So the GPU has all of these for like the video RAM and VRAM. Someone was telling me I called like the onboard RAM, and it was video RAM, but on a different computer. But yeah, usually I don't point out the video RAM and stuff. Actually, those aren't even video RAM things. They're like, I don't know, capacitors or something. All right, I'm gonna try and push this fan through to see if I can add grease to it. If I can't, then I can't. But anyways, what you want to do is, you see the center part of this, basically the outer ring here. Okay, I'm gonna use my thumbs there to push on that, and you want to evenly push on it. So one on the left, one on the right, or whichever way you're holding this, but left and right. Okay, and then you want to kind of just push it straight through. If it doesn't come out, then it's not gonna come out. But yeah, it looks like this probably isn't going to pop out. So yeah, that's probably not going to pop out. I think we're just going to end up bending the metal. So we're going to hope that removing that giant hairball fixed the problem, which it most likely did, because that was pretty bad. I'm going to use the toothbrush to kind of clean around here a bit more. Yeah, that giant hairball hopefully was the reason for the noise. But yeah, this one, it's not gonna pop out. Like when I was pulling it, I don't know if you can see it, kind of slightly bent that a little bit. So I don't think we'd be able to separate this. Let's actually check under the label and see if sometimes you can add grease under there, but I doubt it for this model. Yeah, this is even really difficult to peel up. Wait, let's try and peel from here. I think is there a separate plastic layer underneath? I'm pretty sure this one's sealed. Okay, I'm gonna leave this alone because I don't want to make the fan like not usable at all. But anyways, you can see the fan is still just spinning okay. So if it still makes a screechy noise or something, then I don't know what's going on with that. I can't pull this out, so not really much else I can do. We'd have to end up replacing the fan if it's not going to work. Let me try one more time. Again, you want to try and be as even as possible, left and right. Yeah, that's not going to come out, and I'm pretty sure I'm just bending out this metal stuff. So hopefully that didn't cause any weird issues where it's going to scrape on it. Sometimes if you bend it, then it's going to end up scraping. I can actually feel that this thing is not good. Like, it doesn't feel like it's spinning very smooth. So I'm not too sure what I can do about this, because it definitely will need to be replaced, and I can't just pull it out this way. If you pull like this, you're going to end up breaking all the fins off, so you don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to push this through, but we kind of need to. So I'm going to try and keep more pressure evenly around it and see if I can just push it harder. Oh, there we go. Woo, okay, we got it out. So now we're going to have to apply some grease. Wow, okay, so you can see this thing. That's pretty gross and dirty in there, so we are going to have to clean that up. Let's see, I'm going to try and push this to flatten it back out. Okay, good thing we were able to get that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of paper towel first and just clean this gunk out of here, because that is really gross. And hopefully the windings, look at that. Hopefully the copper windings and stuff don't get messed up. I'm going to try and be careful not to damage those little wires. Okay, so there we go. We cleaned that out. You also want to kind of clean in here, because you can see that's really dusty as well. Okay, clean in there, clean the shaft or whatever you want to call that, and then kind of clean around the edges of the inside here. And wow, look how gross that is. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to brush this just because since now we have access to the bottom, it's easier. Okay, let's try and use the paper towel again. Sorry, I keep going out of view. Maybe I should, I don't know if I should leave it zoomed out, but because it's hard to kind of focus on what I'm recording when I'm doing this. Okay, so here you can see the paper towel's a lot cleaner now. Zoom out a bit more. And we'll try and clean this a bit more. This fan is like very flimsy. It's kind of not a good design. I'm going to try and wipe around the outside as well, because there's a lot of black gunk on it, you can see. Okay, so now I kind of want to make sure that this thing is flat and not bent. Okay, I think that is good. I hope so. If not, I'm gonna have to find a way to bend it back after the fact, but so far I think it looks okay. All right, I think I bent it back for the most part. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna add grease. You don't really need a very special type of grease. What I actually use, I just use motor oil. I do use synthetic motor oil. It doesn't really matter too much, but yeah, I just use this because that's what I used on my car before. Okay, now I got a different car because the catalytic converter got stolen from my current one, but anyways, or my other one. But what you're gonna do, you just tilt the bottle over, just get something like a paper clip or a needle or whatever, and then I just tip it over, get some oil on the tip or on the thing, and then we just drop it into the hole just like that. Okay, and was there a hair on there I need to take out? Yeah, make sure if there's any. Okay, that might also be part of the problem. There's like hairs wrapped around this thing or lint or something. You want to make sure nothing is kind of clogging it up, because hairs and stuff wrapped around is not good. Oops, sorry, I keep going out of view. All right, so assuming the fan is still good and intact, which I don't see why it wouldn't be. All right, we should be able to, so what we're gonna do first, we're not gonna snap it back in, we're just gonna drop it into place. Okay, just like that, and then we're gonna kind of spin it a little bit. It felt a little rough there, so I don't know if this one has a bearing. Usually these fans don't have bearings in them, but it felt like it was grinding, so that's not good. Anyways, we're gonna pull this back up. Okay, then we're gonna get the paper towel, wipe that off. I'll get a clean one after, but all right, let's see. The oil actually came out pretty clean there, so we're gonna kind of clean this oil around here in the center back out. Okay, not bad. It was a little bit dirty there, but anyways, we're gonna tip the bottle again. We're gonna get more oil. Okay, same thing. Put the drop into the fan bearing, sleeve, whatever you want to call it, because technically there's no bearing in there, I think. Drop it back in. Okay, feels a lot better. All right, seems good. We're gonna use this. All right, right now it doesn't spin too freely because we didn't snap it into place. We're gonna pull this back out. We'll clean it up one more time, see if the thing comes out pretty clear. All right, so we'll clean this up. All right, and that looks good. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's actually clean this out. We'll put in one more drop. Okay, we don't actually need to overflow it like that, so let's try and get a smaller drop this time. Okay, and we'll just drip that into there. Okay, get it in there with the paper clip. I'm going to kind of just clean up the grease that's on top. All right, there we go. Then we're gonna snap this back into place. And this time you wanna actually snap it, so just pinch both sides. You should hear it click. There you go, just like that. And now when you spin it, it should be better. I still feel like some grinding in there, so it was probably like bad for so long that this got, I don't know, got messed up. Let's see, we'll try and like do this a little bit to clear it out, and then see if I can pop this out again and add grease again. Sometimes that might help, because maybe there's something in there that's some dirt or junk. Yeah, I can definitely feel it's like vibrating weird. Okay, so I'm gonna again try and hold it from all sides kind of equally, and then let's see if we can pop this back out. Okay. And let's see about cleaning this up and see what we got. Is it dirty or is it still the same? Okay. I'm gonna clean this out again. All right, and I don't know, it looks clean, so I guess if it still makes the noise, we're gonna have to replace the fan. But yeah, let's go ahead and put some grease back in there, put it back together, and call it a day. It is what it is. Okay, get the grease in there. All right, clean up the outer edge again. All right, and we'll pop this back in. And there we go. Feels fine at very slow speed, but when I spin it fast, I can definitely feel like some kind of feels like something is grinding inside. All right, anyways, we're gonna put this fan back in. Okay, so just kind of line this thing back up. All right, and make sure you line up this piece with that metal thing that's sticking up there. Okay, and then hold that in place. I'm gonna hold on to this one, and now we just got to get all the screws back in. All right, again, keep track of where the screws came from. I like to twist the screw backwards slightly. We're just going to loosely fit it first. So I twist the screw backwards first to feel it kind of click and drop into place, and then we'll tighten it down. We'll do this for all three. Okay, tighten that down, tighten that down, and tighten that down. All right, should be, hopefully that should be good. We're gonna go ahead and remove this one now. Same idea, make sure to hold the thing up so the thermal pads and things don't touch the table. Okay, let's go ahead and get all these screws out. Okay, last one. All right, flip this over. And it should hopefully just pop out like the other one. Okay, we're gonna lift from, oops, sorry. Okay, we're gonna lift from this side because that one clip is there. So, oh, there's also this tape foam thing here, so it looks like we're gonna have to peel that a little bit. All right, let's see, how do we get this off? I don't want to damage it because I'm probably going to want to reuse that. So peel this foam stuff out of the way. It's actually holding that strong. Oh, some of that foam is actually breaking. Okay, anyways. Wow, look at that. Good thing we opened this. Oh my goodness. Okay. Look at that. There was two. Okay, good thing we opened that, even though that one wasn't making noise. All right, we're gonna brush this stuff off as well. Wow, that's a lot of dust. Holy moly. Okay, we're gonna set this aside for now. All right, now we're gonna work on this. So this fan, basically the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna, same thing, use the toothbrush, kind of brush the propellers off a bit. Okay, more junk is coming out as expected. Let's actually get that junk off my desk. Yeah, this one definitely doesn't grind as much. Anyways, fan model number, if you need that, I think, is it the same? PAAD06015SL. Oh no, it's different. Wait, is it the same? PAAD06015SL. Oh, it is the same. Wait, no. No, it's not the same. Okay. The model number seems to be the same, but the fans actually are different. So, yeah, so you can't just go by the model number, it seems. All right, anyways, we're going to pop this out, okay? Again, just like the other one. So try and hold it as evenly as possible on all sides. And then let's see if we can push this through. Oh no, this one's not wanting to pop through. Okay, I don't know. This is actually just bending this piece. Let's try this. I might end up having to leave this one, which this one wasn't too bad, so I might end up, that might be okay. Yeah, this one doesn't want to go and it's just bending, so I'm gonna bend the metal back into place. And I think this one we're gonna have to leave. I'm gonna brush it a bit better because there's some dust under there. But it seems like this one really doesn't want to come out. Let me try a little bit more. I'll try one more time. Let's see. Because why not? Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. Okay, so we're gonna leave this one the way it was. I'm gonna try and make sure it's not bent. Okay. Make sure this is, try and keep it as flat as possible. Make sure it's not bowed out or anything. Okay. We're gonna clean this up again using the air blower. All right, seems okay. So let's go ahead now and put this thing back together. So we're done with this, I guess. At least we got those giant hairballs out of it, which is, that's very important actually. You don't want to leave those in. That should help a lot with the thermal issue. Okay, let's zoom out and let's go ahead and put this fan back in. Okay. And then of course we need to redo the thermal paste. So let's flip this back over here. Okay, make sure it's all lined up right. Now let's get this thing back into place. Get it in right. Okay, oops, I'm not lining it up right. Come on, go back in place. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna loosely fit these first, and then I kind of want to make sure that they're lined up right with the heatsink. Okay, looks like they're good. Okay, flip it over, kind of like pull it into place so that it's as close to these as possible. I know I didn't do that with the first one, or I didn't really explain it, but it's basically what you want to do. Tighten that in, tighten that in. Make sure it spins freely, looks good. Okay, push this foam stuff back in. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get this gunk off. That's the thermal paste. And what I'm gonna use is just this little plastic tool, and I'm just gonna scrape it off to get the old stuff off. And it's a little bit crusty. If it overheated and shut itself off, then this stuff will be like hard, like very hard. So keep that in mind. And that means your paste is really bad. So yeah. All right. So this paste isn't completely gone yet, but it's not great. All right. I'm gonna get this stuff off. Come on, get out of the way. So good paste would be like kind of still gooey, like toothpaste or something. Or depending on what kind of paste you use, it can be thinner. But yeah, when it overheats, then it becomes like a harder, almost like plastic or something. Okay, anyways, clean that stuff off. We're gonna do that on the motherboard end as well. I'm gonna use a paper towel now to kind of clean up the residue a bit more, and then we're gonna also use rubbing alcohol to clean it better. You don't want to put too much pressure down on this because it is raised slightly up from the table, and you don't want to bend the heat pipes again. So we'll clean this off, right? And we'll clean this off. All right, there's some that they kind of overflowed over to here. Go. All right, now we're gonna get a piece of paper towel with rubbing alcohol and clean it up a bit better. I'm just using 91%, okay, and I just kind of get a little bit of it on there, and then we'll clean this off. That helps kind of dissolve more of the thermal paste and allows you to kind of clean it up better. Okay, then we'll dry it. So I switch to a dry side of the paper towel after I wipe it. You can see how gross that is. Okay, we're gonna now move this aside, and then we're gonna switch over to the motherboard. So let's grab that. Okay, here you can see the motherboard one. We're gonna basically do the same thing. We'll see if we can wipe off most of it with the paper towel. Okay, try and avoid the little capacitors and stuff on there. At least I think those are capacitors. It could be resistors, or I don't know. All right, clean that stuff off. I'm probably gonna have to use. Usually what I do is I hold this upside down over a trash can to make it easier to get it out without it getting into other components, but then the speakers will fall everywhere on this model. So yeah, I'm trying to avoid that. So let's kind of just pick that stuff up and throw it over here. Yeah, just be careful not to like smush it into it. Okay, might help to kind of use something like this. You can kind of scrape it out of the way. Some of it's kind of stuck on there. It's not too important to get all of it out. The main thing is to get all the stuff off the top, but I try and get it as clean as possible if I can.
Hey, Artemis.
All right, there we go. Oh shoot, I need to lock my door because people are about to come in and I don't want it to be distracted. Okay, we got most of it off. Let's actually clean this up as well. and blow the extra junk away. Okay, give me a second. I'll be back. Gonna lock the door real quick. Alright, so I'm back. Let's continue cleaning this stuff up. Okay, the CPU is a bit easier because there's no, like, nothing sticking out of it except for the CPU die, so you can just kind of wipe it out. Wipe it all off, just like this. Flip over the paper towel to a clean spot and continue wiping, just like that. There you go. This one's all clean. Again, we're going to use the paper towel with some rubbing alcohol on it to make sure to get most of the residue off. Make sure it's a lot cleaner. Okay. Okay, then dry it up. Same thing with the GPU. Clean it up. Alright, there we go. And then I'm going to use this to kind of just blow any lint away. Clean off any of these little hairs. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to get the thermal paste and we're going to put some new paste on there. So let me grab a tube of thermal paste here. Let me get one that I've been using. Zoom in. Okay, so for the GPU, you kind of want to, let me actually clean it a little bit more. You can see like some streaks on it. Or maybe it's some micro scratches. Yeah, it looks like it didn't really change when I did that, right? Yeah, nope. Okay, anyways, what we're gonna do, let me get the dust back off. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna make kind of like a grain of rice going along. You don't need a crazy amount. All right, and we're just gonna go along like this. Even that's probably a bit too much, but it should be okay. If you're wondering what I'm using Icy Diamond, though most of the pastes will do just fine. You don't really need to worry. It might help like within a couple degrees, but nothing too noticeable. Okay. And alright, I think that's good. Try and keep it as centered as possible. That way when you put the heatsink on top, it'll evenly kind of spread it out and get it all coated. Okay, and this stuff, it'll spread super thin, so again, you don't need a crazy amount. Like a lot of people flood it, you don't need to do that. Okay, same thing with the CPU. You actually don't want a crazy amount, because if you put too much, this stuff is designed to actually pull the heat. So if you put way too much, basically the heat will end up spreading to out here, and you don't want that. Okay, so again, just make kind of like a grain of rice. Just like that. Okay, and again, try and keep it as even as possible, and if anything, if there's more, like kind of have it more towards the center, because when it pushes down, it'll spread it all outwards. All right, and the reason I do this is because any air bubbles will get pushed towards the outside when you put the heatsink on top. All right, so there we go. Let's zoom out. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the heatsink back on, of course. All right, let's zoom back in a little. Oops, way too much. All right, Let's grab the heatsink. The thermal pads, you don't really need to replace them. If you want, you can get new ones. I don't know the actual thickness of them, but they seem to be about 1 millimeter thick or so. Some seem to be a bit thicker, I don't know, but they mostly seem to be about 1 millimeter thick, in case you're wondering. But I don't know, because they might have gotten smashed down. Alright, anyways, we're going to start with the left side here, because this side has to go underneath here. There's some dust there still. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go under this way, and slowly, carefully lower it down. Right, and then we're going to line this side up. Slowly, carefully line this up and drop that down. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go in order of the numbers on this thing. Okay, all right, so we got number 1 right here. I'm going to switch back over to the JIS1 or PH1. All right, and we're going to take screw number 1 here, get this in, and I'm going to loosely fit this first just to make sure I have room to put the other one. Okay, screw number 2 right here, get that in. Again, I twist it backwards slightly to get it to drop into place. Oops, sorry, this is number 4. We're gonna, not that one. Okay, screw number 2. And these outer ones for the fans are mostly for alignment. All right, screw number 3 right here. It's just to make sure that everything is aligned properly and isn't out of place. Okay, screw number 4. All right, once I get all of these, I'm going to actually tighten them down. Okay. There we go. All right, we'll tighten down screw number 1. Just like that. Tighten down screw number 2. Tighten down screw number 3. All right, tighten down screw number 4. All right, then what we're gonna do, we can get these fan cables back into place, just line them up and push them back down. Be careful not to damage the cables. I push on the plastic casing part of it, okay? Just like that. All right, so we got the first 4. Then what we're gonna do, let me make sure I can see this right, 5, 6, 7. Apparently we're gonna do the CPU all first. Let me actually zoom in here so you guys can see a bit better. Okay, screw number 5. Again, I twist backwards to hear it click. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go to screw number 6. 1, 2, 3. Screw number 7. 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna go over here. 1, 2, 3. All right, that tightened all the way down. Then we'll tighten this all the way down. And then we'll tighten this all the way down. And because these are spring-loaded, it's constantly putting pressure, allowing the paste to flow. So you can double check one more time, make sure they're all tight. Good. All right, then we got 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's go ahead and do that. Number 8 here. 1, 2, 3. All right. Then the one across in the corner, number 9. 1, 2, 3. And the one down here. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then the one up here. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to go ahead and tighten this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we can go ahead and tighten this all the way down. 8, 9, 10, and 11. Should be good. You can give it a few seconds and then you can go ahead and tighten them again, or try and see if you can twist them again. You don't want to overly tighten it, okay? You don't want to twist super hard and then end up breaking something, but there we go. All right, I'm gonna tuck these antenna wires out of the way a bit more. Then we're gonna go ahead and get this wire back into place, okay? Just line that up. And then push this down, good. All right, once that's good, we can go ahead and get all of this into place again. All right, fans spin okay. All right, next thing we're gonna do, again, of course, put the battery back in. and then we can actually test it again. So again, just like that, push it back somewhat, rotate it down. There we go. We'll get this screw back into place. And I think I didn't disconnect, hopefully I didn't disconnect anything else. I think that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and power it back up, see if that noise went away. We're gonna open this up. Again, you are gonna have to plug it in, and then it does take a while for it to boot up. It's gonna restart itself multiple times. The keyboard will like power cycle on and off multiple times. The power button light will power cycle on several times. I'm gonna try and hold the speakers here to kind of show you at least a little bit. I'm not gonna show you the entire thing because, so the power button light's on, and yeah, and then it's gonna shut itself off, you'll see. Okay, I don't know if, oh yeah, the keyboard light's on as well. It's hard to see because, yeah, so there you go, it turned off, and then it's gonna turn itself back on again. But basically it's gonna power cycle through that multiple times. That's normal. Once it actually starts showing stuff on the screen, I'm actually gonna pause the video because I don't wanna show the customer's login stuff. And I'm basically just gonna check and make sure that the fans and everything sound normal. But that's pretty much it. So here you can see it keeps, there you go. Now it actually shows. And yeah, oh, I think it's gonna power cycle one more time after that. And yeah. Anyways, I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a bit. So you saw it turned back off again. So it's gonna do that multiple times. That's normal. And then it will start spinning the thing here, and that's how you know it's ready to go. There you go. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so the repair was a success. I'm going to actually shut it down now, and we're going to put it back together. The fan's actually spinning. I was running Prime 95 to stress test the CPU, and I also ran Furmark to kind of stress test the GPU, make sure everything is running okay, and looks good. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing back together. Okay, we're going to unplug this. And we just got to put the bottom cover back on. Again, because the headphone jack and microphone jack are protruding out from the case, you actually want to put that side on first. Let's zoom out a tiny bit more so you can kind of see almost everything at once. There we go. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to put it at an angle like this. Make sure that it goes over the headphone and microphone jacks. Okay. Once you make sure that's in, push it all the way. You can see it does sit properly, and then you can go ahead and kind of click in all the way around all the edges. Okay, make sure everything snaps into place. And make sure everything snaps into place. Oh, they broke a lot of the clips here, so man, what'd they do? Even the clips here, they kind of broke a little bit. Okay, anyways, we're just gonna go around, make sure everything looks good. All right, it looks all snapped into place properly, and let's go ahead now and just get all these screws back. So we'll tighten this one down. Okay, just like that. We'll get this, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. What in the world? There's a random hole here that's not actually for the screw. Make sure you put it in the right spot. That's weird. Okay, anyways, but yeah, again, make sure to share the video or my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You're welcome to stay as I get all these screws back in. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next one. All right, let's get all these screws back in. And we should be good to go. Okay. Tighten everything back into place. Alright, last screw. Of course, you want to test to make sure it turns on without having to plug it in. So let's flip it back over again and turn it back on. Oh, is that thermal paste stuff that was on that got on my desk somehow? Okay, I'm gonna have to clean that off. So to clean off that stuff, if you get thermal paste on your computer, again, just use rubbing alcohol, it will come out. Okay, so let me clean that up. Okay. Thermal paste is a little bit annoying to deal with. Alright, so we're just going to get rubbing alcohol and we're going to clean that stuff off. Okay, there we go. Cleans off nice and easy, just like that. Okay. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, I guess we sanitized it as well. Alright, bye. Let's drop this.